Baseball is back, and with the NBA and NHL playoffs around the corner, we have a fantastic offer to keep you in action from the first pitch to the kickoff of the upcoming NFL season. We have you covered with every client release, including any 5% best bets from your favorite WagerTalk or Sports Memo handicapper, from the day you sign up to the 2023 Pro Football Hall of Fame game, when the Cleveland Browns and the New York Jets kick off at 8 p.m. on Thursday, August 3rd, for under $4.50 per day, coming out to just $32 per week. To lock in your favorite WagerTalk or Sports Memo expert through the start of the NFL preseason, it would cost you well over $1,000. Before a limited time, pay only $4.99, coming out to just under $4.51 per day. As an added bonus, your access begins when you sign up, so the earlier you do, the more free days you'll get. This offer will include all sports and any 5% best bets played during this time, so act fast and lock in your favorite WagerTalk or Sports Memo handicapper through the start of the football season for the lowest price possible. This incredible playoffs to preseason kickoff promotion ends at midnight on Monday, April 17th.
Welcome, everybody, to WagerTalk Today. I am Lawrence Pressman. He is Teddy Covers, and you're watching the best all-sports daily betting show on the planet. I can't get that right anymore, dude. I'm senile. I'm a senile old man. But I won my 5% last night. Boo! Dude, these, you know what? We'll go there in a second. Who's on the show today? What are they going to be talking about?
Well, the Friday edition is going to start with Ralph Michaels. He's got an NBA TNA chart. He's got an NBA playoff TNA chart as well. That's trends and angles. Get your minds out of the gutter. So Ralph's going to break down NBA and NHL in terms of playoff action. He's also going to talk about the 76ers and the Brooklyn Nets early start NBA action as the playoffs begin on Saturday. Bryan Power is going to join us next. He's going to talk NBA tonight, the Thunder and the T-Wolves, as well as one in MLB, the Mets and the Oakland A's. My big game breakdown is in baseball as well. I'm going to talk the Royals and the Braves. And Andy Lang is going to close out the show. He's going to give us a prop for tonight in the Bulls Heat game. And he's going to talk about a baseball same game parlay and a UFC/PFL parlay for the weekend. If we get 100 likes, Lawrence will have your presidential address at the end of the show. So that's the lineup. Let's get into it.
Yeah, brother, and we're running out of presidential addresses because once hockey season is over, I think we're going to, once the regular season is over, I think we're going to put it to bed and do another type of segment. Me and you are going to talk about that a little later. Not on the show, though. Anyway, dude, it's like these 5% plays, you know, today I have a 4% play in NBA, and it's a rare play. 90% of my plays are 3%. 4% is 1% higher. 5% is 1% higher than 4. And yet, I will make 10-1 sales on my 5% yesterday versus my 4% today. 10-1. And I'm being generous. It's going way more than, it's probably 40-1. It boggles the mind. What's wrong with my 4%? Why are you putting all this pressure on my 5%? They're only 1% different, people. Anyway, I lost my crap last night. I forgot. It was been a week since I had a 5% play. I forgot about the stress, but I wore my pants. We got it done. And now we're on to today. Teddy Covers, let's bring Ralph Michaels in. We can't waste any time when we have Ralph around. How are you, my friend?
Good, guys. Happy Friday to you.
Ralph, I was playing Scrabble a couple of nights ago with Viv. She kicked my ass, won 2 games in a row. But we were using your pen.
As well you should.
Yeah. I was like, oh my God, this is a Ralph Michaels pen. I was excited. Let's go, dude. What do you got on the chart?
I'll tell you what we'll do, guys. Next week here, anyone tuning into WagerTalk Today, I'll send out the first 50 people that get in touch with me. We'll tell you how to do it next Friday, and I'll mail out pens to you next week if you're interested.
Okay, but you're going to use like U.S. Post, right? You're not like couriering a pen to someone.
Yeah, it cost me 44 cents. So it's a pain in the ass. You can't put one stamp on, you can't put two stamps on. You either have to waste money putting two stamps on or actually go to the post office and hand meter them. We've done this a few times on Wager Talk last call with Megan, and the response has been awesome. So I still have a handful of pens, and I want to get them out to anyone that is a fan of the pen.
There you go. Ralph Michaels with a pen offer for you all. And let me say, the pen works. Ralph, you got a chart for us. I hand the mic over to you.
Well, I want to mention this. My son and I did a NBA playoff guide. It's 5 pages. There's multiple charts. There's 20 plus angles and situations. It's absolutely free, available on my page at WagerTalk, wt.buzz/RM, or on JM Sports page at Sports Memo, sm.buzz/JMS. I just wanted to bring up a couple situations here. This is one chart, but there's 3 specific situations. I'll go through all 3 of them, Prez and Teddy, and then you guys comment away on you would. So if we can get the NBA chart up, again, 3 different situations. You see that each one lists a straight up ATS and over-under record. First, how do top seeds do as a home favorite of 8 or more? We're going to have Milwaukee. We're going to have Boston. We're going to have Philly in the East, plus in the West. So when you have seeds 1 through 3 in the playoffs as a home favorite of 8 or more, this is round 1, game 1 specific. Those teams have gone 27-3 straight up, 63.3% against the spread, and 59% of those games have gone under the total. So big home favorites, top seeds, game 1 of series number 1 has been a play on the favorite and an underplay. Second situation, these are pretty specific. How do teams do that shoot 50% or higher in their final regular season game? Does it carry over? Again, not a huge sample size. Often you rest starters, so I don't know how much to put into this. But the numbers were teams that shoot 50% or higher in their final regular season game, like Philadelphia and Golden State, have gone 65.6% against the spread. And again, you'll see it's been an underplay, almost 60% to the under. Now, this one shocked me the most. Jeff was looking up some stuff for the Cavs, and the Cavs rested all their starters, as many playoff teams do in the final regular season game. When you are playing game 1 of series 1, that rested your starters and you shot under 40% in the regular season finale, you have only gone 13-25, 34.2% against the spread. That applies to the Cleveland Cavaliers. So just 3 of the 30-plus situations and multiple charts to look at from the free Wager Talk NBA playoff guide.
So, Ralph, I want to ask you about the last regular season game stuff and if we're going to weight it the same way, because most of that data is collected when the regular season ends on a Wednesday and the playoffs start that weekend, Saturday and Sunday. That's no longer the format for the NBA with the play-in games, and these teams now have basically a week off before the playoffs begin. Do you think that is likely to affect those numbers in terms of both the bet-ons and bet-against for the teams that shot well in the finale? Or do you think that the extra length between the end of the regular season and the start of the full, true postseason is a non-factor when it comes to this particular angle?
Teddy, I'm not going to pretend to guess. I'm not sure. I can obviously go through and look. This is the 3rd year of the play-ins. I can look at the last 2-year data. But again, a 2-year sample size isn't enough. So take them with a grain of salt. We'll all learn together what happens this playoffs. We'll then have 3 playoffs under our belts, and we'll continue to adjust moving forward.
Ralph Michaels joining us, everyone. You can find Ralph at WagerTalk Today at WagerTalk.com. Best damn website ever. Let's get into some actionable. Oh, wait, another chart. Yes. NHL playoffs. I'm excited as shit about the NHL playoffs. Ralph, I will shut up.
I'm telling you, I've enjoyed this NHL season and had a great finish to it. Went 2-0 yesterday. So I don't have the exact same data in the NHL. I can't do rounds and I can't do seeds like I can in the NBA. But Prez and Teddy, we've talked about totals often. Now, the top chart where you see the totals is a separate entity from the bottom. I just wanted to give one system as well. So let's take a look at the top chart. And this is one thing that goes against the grain that we've talked about. Many times on this show, we've talked about when you have low totals, they're low for a reason, they tend to go under. When you have high totals, they're high for a reason, and they tend to go over. Fives are almost non-existent in the NHL regular season, but take a look. In the postseason, since 2018, when there's been a total of 5 in the NHL playoffs, they've gone over the total 59.7% of the time. So those fives are a little bit too low in the postseason. You'll see 5.5s and 6s have gone under the total by 58.3 and by 54.5. But when you do have the 6.5s, they have gone over the total. Sevens, again, we've only seen a sample size of 6. So that I'm going to throw that out the window. So in the NHL playoffs, low totals have not held true to the norm. High totals have held true where you can bet over. And Prez, I wanted to give you one NHL playoff system I was looking up prepping for the show. Playoff teams off a loss as a home favorite of minus 155 or higher. They have not been profitable. You might think those teams bounce back, but you're playing an inflated line, and they're actually minus 9.1 units. But take a look at the over-under. When that home favorite loses in the next game, they've gone under 71.4% of the time. And if that home favorite loses and they're at home again, they've gone under the total almost 78% of the time. So while you may not want to fade a home favorite off a big upset loss, they do tend to play defense in the next game.
Ralph, just real quick in that regard. So a minus 155 team at home loses the next game. They are a terrible bet. That's what you're telling me. My question is the next game at home or is it away, or is that irrelevant in your chart?
Well, I just used the overall numbers because they were pretty close. You'll see that they're not a horrible bet, Prez. They're 40 and 35, 53.3%. So you're down 9 units in 70 games. It's been a negative proposition, but by no means is it a horrible bet. It's just not a situation where you think this is an automatic play on, which I'm trying to share with people because I hear that way too much. Oh, this NHL team loses as home as a big favorite. There's no way they're going to lose again. It's not true. They're just above the Mendoza line, and they've usually been a favorite.
And
Eddie, any questions?
Yeah, well, the trend that he was speaking to with the teams that have lost as a home favorite, whether they're at home the next game or whether they're on the road the next game, the trend is to the under.
Yeah.
And a strong trend, the under. So it doesn't matter home or road. The stronger trend of the two, I believe, he throw that chart up there, was a team that's at home again, which meant they lose game 1. And they're back at home game 2, which should provide some opportunities for bettors in the not too distant future.
There you go. Ralph Michaels, Philadelphia playing Brooklyn, minus 8.5. It's a Saturday game, 1 p.m. Eastern. What do we do here, brother? Where are we going? How do we bet it?
Well, I do want to mention I'm only going to talk about the one NBA game because I am on first pitch today, so I'll have 2 baseball games I'm going to talk about. Check that out for some baseball. I am going to go with Philadelphia. And I know there's a lot of people that are bashing the Nets. Yes, they traded Durant. Yes, they traded Harden. But I'll tell you what, they have been one of the strongest away teams on the road, playing very well, covering spreads. They covered against Philly. They knocked off Denver. They did well against Boston. So I am not dismissing them just because of that. You look at the Brooklyn Nets with what they've done. The trade they did, Dinwiddie, Bridges has been amazing. Harris, Seth Curry, they have a lot of guards that can shoot. I went down and I pulled down some numbers. When Brooklyn makes under 15 three-point plays, 15 shots, they're 8-20 against the spread. If the young team with the guards shooting a lot of threes make a lot of threes, and this is going to happen for most teams, if you're going to make 15 three-pointers, you're going to cover a lot of games. But the Nets are 13-2 ATS. I think the matchup is very tough here. Philly, number 3 in three-point defense, number 3 in the number of three-point shots allowed. And statistically, for those that look at NBA playoff teams in a profile, there have only been 3 playoff teams in the last 20 years that have finished in the top 3 in offensive and defensive efficiency. Twice, it was the Golden State Warriors. They won a championship both times. The third time is Boston this year. But if you look at the Sixers that started the season at 12-12, losing in overtime to the Rockets, and then since that point, they've gone 42-16 with the number 2 offensive rating and the number 2 net defensive rating. That puts them in a position where I think there's some value here. The Nets are a very pick and roll team. They make changes on the pick and rolls. That's where Embiid rips them up. That's where Harden's going to benefit. I look at the matchups. I look at the situations. Yes, they played. It was a meaningless game, but I do like Philadelphia in this role.
Ralph Michaels says, take a look at the 76ers in game 1 against the Nets. Early start action tomorrow. Ralph, what do you have to promote, my friend?
First 5-star of the MLB season. I finished off last year winning 4 straight MLB 5% plays, but do not buy that package. We have a one-day special at WagerTalk today. The code WOW20. WW20. That is for a weekend warrior package. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is valid only today. It saves $20 off a 3-day all access. So you buy one play for $35, or you buy a 3-day all access for $39, just $4 more. Again, WW20 is the code. Any capper at WagerTalk, a 3-day all access valid only today on Friday.
Ralph Michaels, outstanding work. That's it. We're good. Dan, get rid of that good-looking man, and Teddy and I are going to chat for a sec. Teddy, so I know you don't follow hockey a lot, but the Columbus Blue Jackets had the first shot, 25% shot at Connor Bedard. And then they went and won last night. And now they have an 11% chance at Connor Bedard. Now, you don't know who this guy is. You've heard his name on these shows. This guy has the potential to be a top 10 hockey player ever. That's how good he is. He's the next Connor McDavid. He's the next Austin Matthews, Sidney Crosby, Gretzky, Lemieux. He's right there with these guys. This is a franchise-changing hockey player. What are these freaking teams thinking, dude? Like, seriously, what is going on in their heads?
So you're putting a team as something that can think. A team can't think. Individuals think. Hey, don't Jesus Christ. You asked for my point. You answer my response. Don't answer my response and then poo-poo it before you even get the chance to say anything.
Okay, poo-poo.
A team can't think. Individual players can think. When individual players are on the ice or on the court or on, the Houston Texans did the same thing in week 18, winning a meaningless game that they shouldn't have won.
But they didn't have
the players on the field, the players on the court who are playing. You can't lay down. You don't lay down.
Which is why
to the players.
You don't play those players. The
organization might. It doesn't matter if the worst players in the team are playing. Players are going to play, and they should play, and they should play hard. Now, if you are a member of this team and you get this franchise-changing player, what happens? Well, your job's not safe. In fact, there's a spot on the roster you ain't getting. Team might get better, but it's not
one spot.
Yes, one spot. That could be your spot. That's all I'm saying.
Not if you bring the entire minor league team up to play. This is on the general manager and the coach. Don't start your goaltender. Bring up a goalie from your minor league team. Put him in. Don't start Johnny Gaudreau. Don't start Patrick Laine. Don't start your best players. I mean, Winnipeg last night rolled out literally their minor league hockey team against Colorado, which, by the way, was why I had a 5% on Colorado. This stuff baffles me. The stupidity of these general managers. I get it. When you're a hockey player, your instinct is to win. I get it. But come on, man. Don't put your damn NHLers out there.
Lovie Smith lost his job after Houston won in week 18. So the coaches can and will lose their job over something like this.
Yeah.
GMs,
anyway, Teddy, we got to talk about that first buyer promo. We've been talking about it all week. It's doing really, really well. We're so appreciative of you guys who purchase plays over at WagerTalk. And if you've never done so, please take 2 minutes, head over to WagerTalk, use the promo code TRYWT. You get 50% off any daily or 3-day all access pass. It's half price. It gives you a chance to try one of our handicappers out. Hopefully, you will enjoy the process and become a regular customer of ours. But go over to WagerTalk, use the promo code TRYWT. Frankly, you should use it on me. I got a 4% NBA play up and 4 baseball plays going. Teddy, if they used it on you, what would they be getting?
They have an NBA play, an MLB play, and we may add more as the day goes on. Let's talk about what we learned last night. And I saw an article from David Purdom on the front page of ESPN this morning. Nothing but respect for David Purdom. Talks about who the favorites are in the playoffs. And look, there are 6 teams live to win the NBA Finals. And I honestly think that's it. Milwaukee, Boston, Philly in the East, Phoenix, Golden State, Denver in the West. All those teams are priced at 10-1 or lower. But in the article, Purdom starts talking to bookmakers and where their liability is. And this book's got big liability on Sacramento Kings. All right, they had a couple of big bets. In fact, they've got $3 million in liability, $10.3 million in liability. A $10,000 bet on the Kings to win at $750-1, an $8,000 bet at $350-1. That's $10.3 million in liability, which is an enormous amount of liability if you're worried about it. Sacramento's not winning the title this year. Okay.
That's
the other one that they're worried about is the Lakers. And the Lakers, PointsBet. Here's the director of PointsBet, Kevin Lawler. Lakers are our biggest outright liability for the Western Conference for the championship. They went off at 12-1 at the start of the season. We're as high as 125-1 in November. And the second largest liability behind the Kings at Caesars. Again, Lakers are underdog in their first round series. They're what? A 7 seed? 7 seeds don't win titles. Teams that are underdogs in their first round series don't win titles. So when it comes to future book liability, I got to think the books that are whining, they're in pretty good shape. Not that much risk. There's liability out there, but not that much actual risk. I don't see Sacramento or the LA Lakers cutting down the nets when all is said and done. Prez?
Teddy, Andrew Wojcicki keeps asking me, and he has all week, Prez, have you watched Secession? Probably the best show on TV. It might be the best show on your TV, Andrew. It's not on mine. I got to about episode 2, season 1, episode 2. I think it was right when the old guy peed on the floor in his office, and then I'm like, I'm done. I'm not the biggest drama guy. I do watch dramas. Blackbird's a drama, one of my favorite shows ever. But I'm an action guy, dude. I go back through, I'm like, what is the best show I've ever seen in my life? I don't know, probably Banshee. Banshee, Game of Thrones, Spartacus. Loved Spartacus. I'm about action, not drama. So, Andrew, I tried Secession. I know it's good. I tried Yellowstone. I got halfway through season 2, and then I'm like, how many times can you watch a car drive down a dirt road? So I tried. Bryan Power joining us. Bry, anything to add so far in this show?
Wow, I don't know where to begin.
I'm like the Grateful Dead of segues, bro.
I don't know where you're going, man. Are you just, going to meander 20 minutes solo, or are you just going to throw it right to me? I'm going to give Secession a try this summer, by the way. I have no time to watch, binge watch a show like you guys. I'm just always watching games. But the summer, I always try to give one show, and that is the show. My buddies are like, you got to watch it. You got to watch it. I'm like, dude, I have no time. But that is the one on my docket this summer. Secession.
Secession?
Yeah, the show you're just talking about.
Oh, God. Please, man, I'll give you a million better shows than that. Andrew wants some Dead today. Andrew wants to hear some Jack Straw. Bry, can you sing a little bit of Jack Straw for us?
No, nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. We're not going to do that now.
Okay. And guys, I found out recently that Bryan Power is a deadhead, which is just brought you even higher up on my list of why I love Bryan Power. Teddy, did I see a finger? Did I see
there?
Yeah. Theodore, did you want to say something?
The only finger you would see, Lawrence, is the wrong one that you want me. I
no doubt.
Our audience, but I'd be
okay. NBA,
you. Brian. Let's talk some NBA.
Well,
Thunder and the T-Wolves tonight. Oh, good. Okay, then you can do it. But
no, go ahead, Teddy. Nobody needs me. Jack Straw from Wichita.
What are we going to do with the Thunder and the T-Wolves?
Okay, friends, let's bring the focus back to the athletes here, shall we? Thunder and T-Wolves, two other teams, Teddy, that I don't think are going to be winning the NBA Finals this year. Obviously, the winner of this game just gets the honor of being the 8th seed in the Western Conference. We'll face top seed Denver in the first round proper. We saw Minnesota on Tuesday blow a chance to be the 7th seed, losing a game they probably should have won. The final score 108-102 in overtime against the Lakers on Tuesday. Oklahoma City, of course, had to upset New Orleans on Wednesday just to earn this opportunity to be the 8th seed. Previously, guys, I have written, and on all the great shows I've been on here on WagerTalk TV, I've talked about this. I am in no rush to lay points with any NBA team this postseason. I just don't think the gap is that big between teams in most of these matchups. Maybe, Boston and Atlanta is an exception to that quote-unquote rule. But it's certainly the case here, and I'm going to be on the underdog, Oklahoma City. Now, true to form, I took the points with Minnesota on Tuesday. That was a game they covered wire to wire. I was adamant, if you read my analysis, that the spread there was totally inflated due to the drama surrounding player absences for the T-Wolves. Obviously turned out to be a correct call. But laying points, guys, I want no part of Minnesota. They're 14-23-2 against the number in that role. Gobert may be back Friday. Stress may be back because he has a bad back. His suspension is over. But as I mentioned in my analysis Tuesday, I'm not worried about a potential Gobert return because the offense, and the numbers bear this out, Teddy and Prez, is worse with him on the floor. Spacing is an issue with Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns. Their offensive efficiency, guys, drops about 5 points per 100 possessions in games where Gobert plays. And I don't see the T-Wolves making another 16 threes like they did against LA. Oklahoma City in the underdog role. Great play on team, especially on the road. 4th most profitable in the league in that role. And that cover rate, when SGA is in the lineup, jumps to 67%, 21-10 against the number, including the cover against New Orleans the other night. SGA had a big game, 32 points on 11 of 22 shooting. I expect him to go off again tonight. As Minnesota, they may not miss Gobert, but they will miss Jaden McDaniels at the defensive end. We saw he would have covered LeBron the other night. We saw LeBron have a big game. I think SGA has a big game. And oh, by the way, Karl Anthony Towns, Teddy, is on the injury report listed as questionable. I'd expect him to go, but it's worth noting. But give me the points here.
So here's my question. You said, well, there's no way Minnesota's making another 15 three-pointers tonight. Why not? OKC's not a good defensive team. OKC, at best, is a mediocre defensive team. There's vulnerability in the low post. There's vulnerability on the wing. And Minnesota has shooters. Anthony Edwards didn't even get going in that game against the Lakers at all. Lakers double teamed him and got the ball out of his hands. And he's talked a lot about the adjustments he needs to make when it comes to facing the double teams. But why do you think that Minnesota wouldn't be capable again tonight of getting hot from downtown and putting some margin between them and the Thunder?
They average 12 per game, Teddy, which is obviously down from what they hit the other night. So just in terms of just sheer average, I think they might be due for some regression. And again, let's go back to what I talked about with the spacing. And if Gobert is out there, I think a lot of the success they had from behind the arc and the shooters had and what we saw offensively, particularly in the first half, was due to Gobert's absence. Like I said, the numbers bear out. This is a better offensive team when Gobert doesn't play. Now, he may not play again tonight, certainly. And again, maybe that they're a little bit better than expected. I just don't see another 16 from them again. That's 4 more than their season average per game. Oklahoma City, not a great defensive team, you're right, but I do think we'll see regression in that department.
There we go. Oh, right. Like right in the middle of this segment, Aaron writes, Prez, how about Lily Simmons from Banshee? And I don't remember anything else he said after that.
Oh.
I like, what was the play? Were we talking sports? Like, oh my God, Lily Simmons. Okay. Okay. So, Brian, before we get into your next game, I want to tell everybody, guys, please hit the like button. Please subscribe to our channel. And most importantly, if you guys could do us a solid, Bryan Power, Ralph Michaels, these shows are so excellent day in and day out. I am going to go on a mission every show from here on in to ask you guys to comment. Please comment on our videos on YouTube. Listen, the bottom line is the way YouTube works, the algorithm, et cetera, the more engagement we get, the higher up in the rankings we get. And one of the most important parts of that engagement from YouTube's perspective is comments on the videos when we're done. So if you hate the Prez, call me a douche in those comment sections. If you love Teddy, tell us in the comment sections. But most importantly, put up your best bet every day. Put up your best bet every day. Let me know how you're doing. We'll include some of it during the show, but just take 2 minutes. Go to our comment section and just write Oklahoma City. That's all we need. That's it. Please. Thank you. Bryan Power, New York Mets at Oakland. Where are you going in this game?
Well, I'm not going Oakland, guys. Allow me to be the last to inform that the Oakland A's are a very bad baseball team. I've got them rated dead last in the power ratings. It's a team that's already been outscored by 50 runs. That's the worst run differential in all of baseball so far. And let's take a look here at the starting pitching matchup first. Kodai Senga is going for the Mets. Looks like an early Rookie of the Year candidate in the National League, and they need him with the rotation being banged up. I played him his last time out, held Miami to 1 run on 3 hits across 6 innings. Mets win that game 5-2. It was a similar story in Senga's first start, also against Miami. He goes 5 1/3, allows just 1 run on 3 hits. Mets win that one 5-1. And while Senga figures to play a key role in the Mets starting rotation this season, James Kaprielian, nothing more than a replacement level starter for Oakland. He's only in the rotation due to an injury to Paul Blackburn. He's going today, 11.17 ERA, 1.965 whip through 2 starts, tagged for 5 runs in 5 innings by Cleveland, failed to protect a 6-2 lead in that game, guys. And then he gives up 7 runs in 4 2/3, against Tampa Bay. He's already allowed 4 home runs, 3 against the Rays. I know the Mets have not hit particularly well so far, but I think they break out at the plate today against a substandard pitcher. Oh, by the way, the Guardians and Rays in those 2 Kaprielian starts combined for 23 runs. The A's bullpen also not good whatsoever. They have allowed, this team, 11 or more runs 5 different times already, including once in every series. Off a bit of a deflating loss, too. Walk-off fashion yesterday, 8-7 against the Orioles. The Mets had Thursday off, so they're fresh coming into the series. I think Senga keeps the A's in check. And the Mets, now you're saying, wow, BP, what an incredible call this is. The Mets are a huge favorite. Well,
No one said that.
Oh, they didn't. Okay, good. I just made
No,
that was
no.
the voice in my
And no one
that was
has
the
ever
voice in my
called you
head.
BP.
Oh, I
Yeah.
think you need to watch the other shows there, Prez. But the bottom line is this. This is all you need to listen to. The Mets will win this game by multiple runs. Play them on the run line, -1.5. Mets all day here.
So the A's are 3-10. They're the worst team in baseball. Everyone knows they're the worst team in baseball. Is there money to be made just fading Oakland every single day?
Teddy, we talked about this on First Pitch yesterday. You can't just do things blindly, but
Why not?
man, I guess you can, but
Bet the Jets under the total blind in hockey, start to finish.
They're going to win. I mean, they're going to win some games, but yes, I mean, generally, this is a team, I guess. If you want to bet against the A's regularly, they are going to be a money loser this year, I guess. If you just want me to answer that question, they were projected for the lowest wins, right? 59, I think, off the top of my head, coming into the year. Yeah.
With
So
Washington.
it'll be interesting, I guess, to see, what the book, because I mean, again, they're already more than the Mets are more than a $2 favorite here on the road. So,
Brian, I'm gonna have to stop you, dude. People want to hear about my TV shows, not sports betting, bro. Teddy's like, God damn you, Prez. God damn you, Prez. Brian, what do you got to promote?
Yep, I got 3 best bets up on my page. That's in addition to the 2 plays I just gave you for free. Those are client plays, both 3%, but I got 3 4% plays, one in soccer going this afternoon. We are number 1 with plays rated 4% or higher on the pitch since March 1st. Baseball, nice run, 12-6 last 18. That's 67%. Going back to last year, up well over 30 units since the playoffs. Have a 4% best bet there. And then 7-1. Last 8 in the NBA, including a perfect 3-0 so far in the play-in game. We got a 4% run there. So, won 3 days in a row. Ralph mentioned that great weekend package that we've got going. Let's win 3 more days in a row, guys. Go to my page and take advantage of that right now. Thank you for having me.
Ryan, we love having you. Thanks for stepping in, brother. Teddy, Lawrence Brown shows up in the chat room and writes the most amazing message. And I swear on everything I could possibly swear on, I don't know Lawrence Brown. It's not my burner account. I mean, maybe it's Teddy's burner account, but he didn't tell me. This is a totally legit statement. He writes, I'm up over 222 units in the last 10 weeks because I pay the professionals at WagerTalk to do the work and pay for the picks. I'm a business owner and cannot do the work. I'm a Joe, and they are a pro. Thank you, my friend. I don't know who you are. I don't know where you came from, but a whole ton of love for that statement. Theodore, no commercial break. Let's go right into the world-famous Big Game Breakdown.
It is time for today's Big Game Breakdown. Let's talk some Major League Baseball for Friday night. The Atlanta Braves and the Kansas City Royals. Right now, look at the WagerTalk live odds screen. Let's call Atlanta anywhere from minus 130, minus 135 in that range. Total in that ball game sitting at 9. A little bit of juice to the over. In general, I'm not a fan of backing a bad team with an ace on the hill versus an elite team with a secondary starter. In general. But every rule has exemptions, and Brady Singer is one of them. The Royals win for Singer. That's why this is a 3% client play for me tonight. A bad team, the effort comes and goes. Once every 5 days, when Singer takes the hill, that's when they bring their A game. They keep their best relievers fresh to close out the game behind their ace. What are the numbers? Well, KC's 2-0 in Singer's 2 starts this year. He beat the Giants and the Blue Jays, not bottom feeders. In Kansas City's other games, 11 games, they're 2-9. 2-0 for Singer, 2-9 for everybody else. Last year, starting the beginning of July, he figured it out. Kansas City, 16 starts. 12-4 when Singer starts. 25-45 in the final 70 that he didn't pitch. That's a pretty significant dichotomy. Singer on the hill, not Singer on the hill. When a team is now 27-54 without him compared to 14-4 with him. Charlie Morton's very much a rhythm pitcher. When he's hot, we want him. When he's not, we don't want him. And Charlie Morton, look, he's good enough to win titles. He can pitch like an ace for months at a time, but not every month. And he hasn't been very good so far this season. 20 base runners and 10.1 innings of work. He's been in trouble basically in every inning. The Braves bullpen got used up in the series against Cincy. Acuna got hit by a fastball in the last game. No sure thing he's going to play. KC's coming off a 500 road trip, a positive sign. They had a season-high 10-run outburst in their last game, a positive sign. I think KC's a live dog in this one. And don't forget to take advantage of my NBA playoff special. Again, over the last 100, over the last nearly 200 plays, last 300 plays, nearly 60%. Let me try this again. Take advantage of my NBA playoff package. Yeah, Prez, I screwed that right up pretty good.
Yes.
Last year, full NBA playoffs, 66%, 29 and 15. I'm hitting better than 60% in the NBA over nearly 300 plays since February 22, up more than 177 units. Use promo code NBA50 and take $50 off playoff package complete through Game 7 of the finals. Let's go to both WagerTalk and SportsMemo.com.
Back to you, Prez. Oh, well, I thank you, Teddy. Andy, don't you worry, man. We'll go late for you. You are a priority in my life. Andy Lang joining us, everyone. And Andy, I'll tell you, and look, I've said this to you. I if Teddy is not available for a show, I would love for you to co-host with me. If you can come up with a way to make Teddy not available for the show, I'm all for that as well. Maybe you can Tanya Harding him.
That's too. I was just thinking that. Why were we thinking about something from 30 years ago? I'm like, the only way to get me off the show is to tell you. I was thinking Nancy Kerrigan me. You go Tanya Harding me. That's hilarious, dude. That's how big a deal that was 30 years ago.
Well, the movie was awesome, dude. And Margot Robbie, oh my God, I'm going to have another moment. Whew, heart palpitations. Andy Lang, one thing about you, bro, is you are a pro. You are quick, and you will get the job done in the next 5 minutes. So I'm just going to shut up, run your segment. If Teddy wants to jump in, he can.
Yeah, I picked a bad day to have parlays where I have multiple pieces to go over. So
no, take your time.
We'll get going. As soon as you guys started talking as soon as you guys started talking TV shows, I knew I was in trouble. Shows that started off with TV talk has not gone well for me this week. All right, let's start with Alex Caruso over 1.5 blocks and steals. A little bit of an obscure one, but we cashed this one the other night easily. I'm not going to go over the entire write-up. He's done it all the time this year, especially in these big games. He's done it all 3 games against Miami. We played this play last game, and he cashed it in the first 7 minutes of the game. He's getting a ton of minutes in these big-time games for Chicago. He's a defensive menace. He causes all kinds of problems on the perimeter. It's juicy, but take it. It may be the last time that we can get it at this number this season. So Alex Caruso over 1.5 blocks plus steals. Let's talk a little UFC and PFL parlay. We had a lot of craziness happen with this fight involving Denis Goltsov. But his fight got canceled. He was going to go up against Patrick Brady, and he was going to beat Patrick Brady, but then it got canceled. But now Goltsov has another opponent, and this one's even easier for him. Cesar Ferreira is when I say last-second replacement, I mean like an hour ago replacement. Cesar Ferreira's 38 years old. He's past his prime. He's getting this as a last-second replacement. He weighed in as a replacement yesterday, 30 pounds less than Goltsov. Goltsov is a takedown machine. He's going to take the much older Cesar Ferreira down. Listen, Goltsov is going to fight for to win the season this year. This is a stepping stone fight for him. Take Goltsov on the money line to win. And then I'm going to parlay that with Gaston Bolanos. He's minus 195 in the UFC. He's fighting Aaron Phillips. And Aaron Phillips, first off, hasn't fought since 2020. He's 12-4 in his career. But of those 4 losses, 3 of them are in the UFC. He hasn't won a UFC fight he gets his wins at the lower level. He just doesn't have that ability to do a step up in competition and win. Bolanos is coming off of a knockout win, and this Bolanos is coming for blood. He comes to knock people out. I assume that's what he's going to do here for Phillips. The KO prop is plus 120, but I'm just going to take him to win at minus 195. So when you parlay Goltsov on the money line in the PFL and Bolanos at minus 195, you get yourself a really, really nice parlay here. So that's an MMA parlay for you. And then we haven't lost an MLB same game parlay this year. We found it to be a really, really nice money-making opportunity. So I wanted to build one for everybody today and show you how we do it. What we're doing is we're looking at games that feature a really bad pitcher, and can the other team take advantage? So we've isolated Tampa Bay and Toronto, and we want to start with Jose Berrios. And so this is on, if you go to DraftKings, you got to click on the same game parlay box, and it'll show you all the alt lines. So we're going to take Jose Berrios to give up 4+ hits. He's allowed 9 hits to Kansas City and 6 hits to the Angels. That's 15 hits in 9 2/3 inning. Tampa gets over 9 hits a game. They're 5th best in MLB. So we like that piece. We're going to take the Rays over 3.5 on their team total. The Rays have gotten to 4 runs in every game except one this season, and Toronto's Berrios has given up 6 and 8 runs just by himself in 2 starts. So in those 2 games, both opponents scored 9 runs against Toronto. I like Tampa to get to 4 runs today. And then we'll take the dominant starter for Tampa, Rasmussen, to have 3+ strikeouts. He's been great. He's had 8 and 7 strikeouts against Oakland and Washington. And that's a great stat because Washington is the best in MLB right now at not striking out. In the last series, Detroit starters all got to 3+ Ks versus Toronto. So the same game parlay is Berrios, 4+ hits allowed, the Rays to score over 3.5, and Rasmussen, 3+ strikeouts. Like I said, we're undefeated on these. We haven't lost one yet. Looking forward to cash this one today.
So I want to ask you about that same game parlay, for sure. When it comes to a situation with a pitcher like Berrios, we had this yesterday with Vince Velasquez for Pittsburgh, who'd been bombed his first 2 starts, and start 3 where you're kind of pitching for your spot in the rotation. He came out and threw a gem. I've seen this from Berrios before, where he gets bombed, and like when they're starting to talk about maybe we better get this guy out of the rotation, he's back home, he throws a gem. The betting markets seem to expect something from Berrios today. With the money's come for Tampa, but I was a little bit surprised at the opener for this game with Berrios as a guy who was getting market respect. Do you worry at all that this is a get right start for him after a couple of rough outings? And I got a Caruso question too.
Sure. It's the perfect question as to why we utilize these same game parlays, because most people are going to be on Tampa, to run line, or they're going to, try and keep it simple. Here's the thing with a pitcher like you call him Berrios. I call him Berrios. I'm really bad at last names. So we only need 4+ hits. So the thinking behind this is, let's say he comes out and he just gets shelled. Well, he's going to give up 4 hits if he starts off rough again. But even if he has a pretty good game, that means he's going to go deeper into the game. And even if he gets to the 5 or 6 innings, just a hit here or there gets him to 4 hits. He can pitch a good game and still allow 4+ hits. This is why we like using these alt lines to really lower it, because even if Berrios comes out and does a pretty good job, I think we can still get to 4 hits with this dominant this batting lineup, which has been lights out so far. But if he gets shelled, we cash it either. So I think there's multiple paths to get to this alt line of 4+ hits.
Let's talk about Alex Caruso real quick, because you talk about Caruso's been flying over. I just went back. He's in the last 15 games since the beginning of March. He'd have gone under 9 and over 6 of these. He's 2-2 with these here in April. And you said it's kind of juicy. What's the juice on that? And are you worried at all, being that this is only cashed 40% of the time in the guy's last 15 games, and with the playing time fairly consistent during that span? It's not like he was, sitting on the bench at the end of the bench for much of it. He's been playing. Are you worried at all with the juicy in it, and it's only cashed 40%?
No, because I look at the rotation and I look at his minutes. His minutes were really, really short at the end. They had a G League guy that came up and was playing some minutes, so he had low minutes. But when I look at the big games that the Bulls have had this year, he steps up and he plays a ton of minutes. Case in point against Toronto, 31 minutes. The Bulls really rode their starters, and you look at the bench, only Patrick Williams and Kobe White played more than 6 minutes. So I actually enjoyed that Caruso didn't play a bunch of minutes and didn't get this stat over in some of these games towards the end of the season. Because once the play-in starts, Chicago is going to ride their starters, and Caruso is one of the best ones, and they need him out there to be a part of the defensive pressure. So you brought up the 40%. For the whole season, he's hit this at 56%. But I just love this spot because I saw what the Bulls are going to do with their starting lineup, and that's ride their starters. So I expect Caruso to get over this 30-minute mark. Even if the game gets a little ahead one way or the other, he's going to be out there. Gives him plenty of opportunity to get over the total.
Andy Lang, everyone. And Andy, we have 3 minutes left till YouTube cuts us off. I still got to get my daily presidential address in. Please, quickly, what do you have to promote?
Stretch.
Promo code PASS100. PASS100 gets you $100 off a 30-day pass. We're just doing well in all sports. We're 8-2 the last 3 days. We cashed a lacrosse play last night. We've done well in MLB, NBA, and NHL playoffs start. This is our bread and butter in the NBA and NHL playoffs. So expect a lot of plays. I expect a lot of profits. Grab a 30-day pass, PASS100, get you all plays, including 5%, $100 off 30 days.
There you go. Andy Lang, everyone. Teddy, we can't even talk about this, but Aaron writes, how come no one has ever talked about the fact that Teddy has great hair? I have actually spoken about that many times, and you should have seen how great his hair was 10 years ago when it was long. Oh, perfection. Teddy, get out of here. Dan, cue it up. Okay, guys, I got 1 NHL and 2 baseball bets for you in the daily presidential address. I must be quick. I got to tell you guys, Sunday is the last day for the Marco Prez NBA promo. Make sure to take advantage of that. It is $69 for both Marco and I, 1 week, all NBA bets. It is an incredible offer. It's a buy one, get one free. You can head over to Marco's page or my page. We are number 1 and number 2 this season in the NBA. Take advantage of that. $69 for 7 days of NBA plays from both of us. As for the free picks tonight, I like Buffalo Sabres in regulation. It's roughly a pick 'em in regulation. So take that. I love that bet. Columbus, last game of the season off of a back-to-back. They're not going to care. Nobody's going to care. And I'll just take the better team. I also like the Boston Red Sox tonight on the money line. And my favorite play in this video is the over in the Toronto-Tampa Bay game. Teddy, my brother, that week is over and done with. I'm going for a veal sandwich. Take us home.
Thanks for watching WagerTalk Today this week. We'll do it again next week. Same time, same channel, 9 a.m. here on the left coast. Noon for you back east. Between now and Monday's show, enjoy the games and best of luck with all your wagers.